So that's very nice.
It's pretty wide views.
Alrighty, and good day YouTube. With me right now I have two fantastic gentlemen. On my left side here is Oscar, he's from Spain. On my right side I have James, who is from Canada. So yeah, as I said, very fantastic individuals. We have been on a low-key mission, just one. There was a quite heavy shelling in Mykolaiv. Come on. Where's Oscar?
Marty's with Alex.
What? Where was it? Where was it? It was close. Come on. Yeah, it smells badly burned, yeah.
They hit. They were here actually hit the last heavy time. I only hit 40.
Like, holy shit.
800 meters. Good luck.
I mean, that was bad. Shit.
Zarro.
Oh my.
The Zarro plays are there.
Oh, that was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get down.
And Oscar and James went out looking for people that might have been wounded or just in need of help. All right, James, would you explain where we're going right now and why?
Well, we're gonna go to Alpha 1 to make sure it didn't get hit, and then we're gonna go back to that place to make sure there's no one there.
Elikkäs näillä näkymin niin Silva on ottanut osumaan. Liikenne on aika lailla pysähtynyt just ennen siltaa. Ja se on aika olennainen silta täällä, jos täältä haluaa pois meinaa. And gladly we didn't find any people. And it was like very fascinating to watch actual professionals do their thing. Yeah. Alrighty, let's go. Täällä haisee todella palaneelta. Ai, todennäköisesti. Dude. Eikö tää tapahtu just äsken? Ai, talata. Ai, ladauttamassa Miankaraa osumaan. And yeah, I'm very grateful that you guys are in Ukraine and doing your thing. So how long have you been in Ukraine serving?
I've been here for since March 1st, so basically since the very start. Went to Kyiv, and now I made my way down to Mykolaiv to help out down there.
From my side, I've been here from 11th of March. I came to Lviv. From Lviv, we decided to come directly to Odessa. In Odessa, we've been training troops. From this period of training, we went directly to help the Ukrainian military to fight in the front line. The front line, in this case, it was Mykolaiv. From that time, I've been in Mykolaiv the whole time.
Alrighty. And how do you feel about this country, Ukraine, and the Ukrainians overall?
At first when I came down, like Oscar said, I came down under a different contract to help push the Russians out of Bucha. I also went to Kyiv. When I was in Kyiv, I trained soldiers. When I first met these soldiers that were training, they had 5 days worth of training with me, and they got sent to the front lines right away. These people, at the very start I met, they were beautiful, courageous, determined. They've more drive than I've ever seen, and for all the places I've been, all the wars I've been. These people here are really fast learners, and I kind of fell in love with the people, especially the soldiers. So
for me, from my side, like James he's saying now, so from my side, these people they are amazing. the civilians they appreciate the work we are doing at the minute. Uh, for the military side, they are really good guys with a lot to offer to this country. Part of this military, they was civilians before. They was never being in a gunfight, so we was offering training. They got really good knowledge about how to use weapons. So because this country has been in war for very long. And yeah, amazing people. People they if you give them, they give you more. And to be honest, has been for my side amazing experience. Um, Ukrainian came into my heart. For James, I think the same. We continue here working. We continue here giving the best we can do. And yeah, uh, this is not the end yet.
We,
Yeah, exactly.
we also, besides training troops, we've also been to the front line ourselves many times. We've had a few missions at the very start when we came down to Mykolaiv as opposed to up north. A lot of the Russians they pulled out of Mykolaiv, and then we were able to establish a defensive line, and then we were put on OP missions or reconnaissance and working on with drones and small ambushes at the very start. It was going pretty good for a little bit, and then we started to find that we were losing more bodies and certain times because of ill communication between commanders and other battalions. Saying that it's a new military, a lot of commanders don't understand certain ways to run a procedure, a battle procedure, what to do when they come under contact, what to do when it comes down to completing an objective. So there's a lot of confusion. I spent the first couple missions here down in Mykolaiv, basically extracting bodies and providing support for troops pulling back. So saying that at the very start, it was a little tough. It is slowly getting better when it comes to communication and officers and commanders actually communicating a lot better. But
They got issues.
yeah,
They see having big issues. These issues, every brigade here, they not communicate each other. So they not offer intelligence from the ground. So they are working together, but at the same time they are not working together. So that means at the moment every brigade is operating in the front line. They doing the job they need to do, but when that job is neutralized, they not offer the information to the rest of the brigades about how the job it was neutralized and about what they found in the ground to continue with the advance.
Yeah.
when it comes down to the Russians in our area, in the Mykolaiv region, they would tactically withdraw back at the very start of the war. The Ukrainians pushed forward. They set up a defensive line. Now the problem is when the Russians pulled back, they already knew the positions that the Ukrainians and us have occupied, and they continuously shell. And when you hear it on the news a lot, you hear that we're doing a big offensive in the south and we're doing good. It really hasn't moved in about 4 months. To be honest with you, it's been a bit of a back and forth. Without the Western weapons, without the bigger weapons, we wouldn't have been able to do this. When it comes down to us doing small missions on, maybe small tank teams or doing reconnaissance for the artillery, doing drone corrections for the artillery. When it comes down to all these missions we're doing, it's a matter of being, almost visible. We're supposed to be invisible, but where we are, you literally can't be invisible. The way the terrain is, the way the fields are, we know where the Russians are. They know where we are. It's just a matter of a big chess match. It's really tough to play this match down here.
I mean, that's exactly how it is, man. So, so when you heard about the Putin's special operation, where were you guys at the moment?
Me, when I first heard about it, I was actually in Canada. We knew what was going on. We've been training in Canada for years against the Russians. Just we kind of figured this was going to happen. Everybody did, with all the aggression that Russia's shown over the years and how many places they've been into Georgia and Syria and all these other places. So we kind of figured on February 25th when they had their special military operation turned into an invasion. I literally was on the next plane coming out with a bunch of other foreigners to help fight.
For my side, I was in Iraq. I was operating as a security for some diplomats. Me and another guy who was working with me. We decided to came here to Ukraine. So the first stop it was in the UK because we got families there. We went to the UK, visit family. We spoke to them. We explained what we was thinking to do. We came here to Ukraine. We was planning to come here to Ukraine. They didn't accept it because the situation in Ukraine was very dangerous in that time. And everyone I was talking to about the situation about it, they was thinking I'm crazy. It's like what are you doing? Why you are going to Ukraine? You are mental. You're gonna die.
Yeah, I mean the thing is that I didn't when I decided to go to Ukraine.
Yes.
People knew that I'm not gonna go to, per se to fight, but people still thought that I'm crazy and everything. But yeah, I mean, what was your guys like individual like the reaction to hearing the news, Russia invading Ukraine?
The escalation was building up. Like I said, we've had intel from different sources even prior to this, from 2014 on. They keep a close watch on them. When they were amassing and they were about to do this military operation, they knew about it. It's a yearly thing they actually do when it comes to military exercises with China, with Belarus. They constantly do this. And this was actually a scheduled for that year. We were expecting them. We didn't expect for them to mass so many troops in certain areas. So to come to think of it, when we started looking at it, we seen it unfold. We kind of knew it was going to happen.
With the constantly support from NATO sending weapons to Ukraine, Russia they didn't accept it. And that's why they are trying to set up their own NATO from another side for what we think about it. So it could be possible, it could be not.
Well,
it could be just a strategic to scare the rest of the
world. You gotta remember why NATO was invented.
Exactly.
It was invented to stop Russian aggression, to basically destroy Russia. That's what it was invented for. So when you got a bunch of NATO countries surrounding another country that is not with NATO, it was just a matter of time before it was to happen. It was inevitable.
Could be strategic from Russia, but it could be not. So we need to be very aware of where they can get and what goal they got. So
it's hard to read the Russians. They're a conventional army. When you're fighting a conventional army, the two things that Russia have is they have time and they have artillery. You hear in the news that they're running out of personnel, they're running out of munitions, and they're running out of time. Well, that's not true. They've been manufacturing artillery since the 50s. They've got a 2 million reserve military strong. They're using the Chechens, the Syrians, the Wagner group, and all these other subgroups so they don't have to use their army. This is just the start. This is not going to be a quick war. I think it's going to be a lot longer, and I think a lot of the people around the Western world, and maybe all around the world, when they hear the news that they're running out of troops or they've exhausted all this stuff. Well, that's not true. When you hear about movements and this and that, well, we're on the front lines. We see it firsthand. It's not true. So when people in the media explain this war from their own point of views, a lot of these people that do explain it, they're not here. They don't see it firsthand.
They don't explain. They offer information is not reliable. So that information, it could be reliable only from people who's in the ground.
And to be honest with you, when it comes to, like when I said training these troops down here, they pick it up so fast. They learn fast. So it's frustrating being here, like I said, at the very start till now. So we've been put on 13, 14 suicide missions because they never gave us a clear objective, or they didn't tell us where we were going. They would take troops from a different battalion put him into a certain spot. And honestly, I kind of get it because they need the bodies. They didn't have the bodies there. The Russians could walk right through. So it's hard to say, but they're literally there to draw fire. We're there to make sure that they know we're there and they can't move forward. And with the big weapons behind us, hitting them every once in a while in strategic spots, this is why this is stalled so far, and Putin couldn't get his 3-week war dead. This is why.
Exactly. So yeah, from a topic to another. So like what I'm interested in, I mean, it's fair to say that you're professional soldiers, etc. I mean, you have like a lot of experience. So what I'm interested in is what's your experience like? I mean, I've heard you talk about the CSOR,
Caesar, yeah.
and for what comes to Oscar, you mentioned Delta Force. So no,
Negative.
okay. So yeah, correct me, please.
It's about the special forces from a European country, but I don't want to say the name.
Yeah,
at the
of
moment,
course.
so, yeah.
All right.
We have special forces too. We've had ex-personnel, military special forces in Canada come here. I came down with a few of them. There's American Navy, ex-Navy SEALs. There's American Delta Force. There's Canadian CSOR, Canadian JTF2. There's SAS. There's a bunch of people at the very start heard the call of the war. They came here, and these guys are not liabilities. Who are liabilities are the people from the Foreign Legion that come down here that sit on their couch, play Call of Duty, and they show up, and they're literally putting stuff on TikTok, giving away positions. They're actually liabilities. They're actually causing more damage than they're doing. So to be honest with you, if I was to tell you, if you're coming down here, make sure you have a bit of an experience to fight, because a lot of these guys come down here for 2 weeks. They hear one shell and they're gone.
Exactly.
So
You're totally right. I mean, how young? I mean, I know that you were young when you joined the army, and so basically, how long have you been a part of the military?
I was 14 years. This will be my 15th year. I got my release when I got here. So yeah, 14 years.
Okay.
For me, 8 years. So these 8 years has been a long journey into the military. So.
We've been a few places. We've done a few jobs. A lot of it we probably can't talk about, but when it comes down to areas of operation, we've been anywhere from Europe to training troops to say the Middle East, fighting, to different countries doing small operations. So.
Yeah, exactly. So if you ask me, this war like departs from the other wars. I mean, I'm not a political person. I don't know about history that much, but for what comes to this war, in my opinion, differs from the others. So I mean, you've experienced war before. How do you feel about this war? How does it depart?
This war, when it comes down to a lot of the Russian invasions, they use the same tactics. They haven't changed. When it comes down to say like Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, all these other places, every war has been different. Everybody's taking it, when it comes to even civilians, looking at it at a different aspect. Coming into these other cities, say in the Middle East, if you're in a war zone or you're in a city, people are scared, they're back down, they're shutting down their stores, they're hiding. You come here and you're out on a Tuesday and people are drinking coffee while the air signs are going off and missiles going off, and people don't change their daily routine, which at first I couldn't get it, but I understand that the economy keeps going here, and to be honest with you, a lot of these people aren't scared.
Yeah, this war is completely different than the rest of the wars in like Afghanistan, Iraq, Africa.
I think it's different, more different too, also for Putin as well. This is something he wasn't expecting.
So, for example, when for us, we are soldiers. We've been in the ground. When we take some time off, we are going back to the city, and the city is completely normal. Everyone is continue doing normal life. So for us, it's completely difficult to come from the front line and reintegrate ourselves in a normal environment. We can do it, but we don't understand this kind of environment just very close from the front line.
Between the politics and everything involved in this war, really watching it unfold, like you said, this is going to be a long war, just because if you want me to be honest, NATO could have hopped in here a long time ago and set up a military exercise on the Russian border, and this would have never got here. I'm from a NATO country, and I'm going to be honest with you that I think a lot of this blood of these Ukrainian people, because there's a lot of Ukrainian people died for no reason, is on NATO's hands. Because I do strongly believe that.
We're not blaming anyone. We're not blaming NATO, but we think NATO and the
Could've
rest of
prevented
the
this.
countries they should take action. If it is not now, but in the future, as soon as possible.
I don't understand politics, but there has to be a bigger reason for why this is happening.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely believe you guys. So, I mean, and there's this other thing, like, when it comes to like a war inside of another war, like it has like different names. For example, someone is talking about like a internally faction war, like basically criminals around the world like coming to Ukraine and basically stealing supplies, for example, and like what is your experience or your knowledge for what comes to this kind of criminal behavior in Ukraine?
One of the things one of the points
Yeah.
I wanna start with is this war in the beginning, it was out control.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone had the freedom to come to the country and fight for Ukraine and give support to Ukraine. So all this support has been used as a business for some people, not for everyone, but for some people. So this war business is a dangerous business for a country is trying to fight a big animal. So this big animal is Russia. So this country has been developed from 2012, for say that, 2010, 14. Well, yeah, 14 they started the war. So yeah, they've been trying to develop the country every year from 2014.
They wanted their independence. You got to remember, this country down here, when it comes down to other wars, there's always been corruption on every side of the war. There's been people making money off war. There's been even locals making money off war to politicians making money off war. When it comes down to here, the very start, there was a lot of stuff, equipment coming across the border where Ukrainian people, Polish people, Americans, Canadians, not sure who, but they were stealing all this stuff and then reselling it back to the Ukrainian people. When it comes down to uniforms, when it comes down to weapons, I witnessed NATO issued weapons on a shelf in a gun store. I said, "Can I see that?" I said, "This is a NATO issued weapon. Can you sell it?" "Oh, I got donated." "Well, why are you selling it?" So there is some Ukrainians here that are taking advantage of it. There's some other people from all over the world taking advantage of it. The corruption here is a lot bigger internally than I've seen in other countries. Saying that just because people are not used to making, when it comes down to the soldier salary, this is the most money a lot of these people have ever made in 1 month. So a lot of these guys will just take their contract, go hide in the city, and not go to war, where other people have no choice. Like my friends, our Ukrainian friends, they have no choice but to go sit in the front lines and take shells every day. There's so much corruption at the very start. It's slowly getting weeded out. Zelensky's been all over it. There's a company here dealing with the counterintelligence is also all over this. But when I say they came down to medical supplies, like medical supplies, they found them online getting sold to Ukrainian people. Like when it comes down to army boots, plates, carriers, this and that, they're not giving their soldiers stuff because their soldiers are issued something very, very. At the very start, they're getting metal plates, they're getting handmade stuff. You know what? Good for them. They really mass produce this stuff quick, but then they got stuff donated to them, which some people were actually selling them to their own soldiers. That made me sick.
We don't give in politically point of view because we know politicians, but for the military here, for the Ukrainian forces, is really bad because they are losing so much equipment. Equipment has been delivered to the country, and we don't know where it is exactly.
Not being signed off. And when it comes down to other places here, like people think in the news that okay, we're doing really good. Well, we're doing a lot better than Putin said. When it comes down to gains and stuff like that, we're leaving cities sometimes. I won't say any cities, but we're leaving cities and we're leaving the equipment behind. The Russians are actually taking it right off. To stuff like that. it's a new army and a new war, and it frustrates me at the very start, but I understand now why it is the way it is, because the next group of soldiers coming in on this term are getting some sort of NATO training, some sort of commanding experience training, how to use better weapons, how to use your weapons effectively. So they say there's been four phases of this war. I say there's only been two. There's been the one phase here where the Ukrainians are trying to get set up, weeding out all the problems, and now these new bunch of soldiers coming in after talking to commanders, starting to see a little bit of a change. And I think this is the turnaround for the Ukrainian people when it comes down to getting rid of corruption, better soldiers, and better planning when it comes to missions and objectives.
Oh, really?
I think the level of corruption here in the country is very high, but at the same time it's very visible. So because it's visible, it's like we know the corruption is there, but we cannot do nothing because they do it in front of yourself. So it's very difficult to stop that.
And then in the same sense, the economy is still going. But like I said, when you go to the front lines, the very first time I was down here, you had guys wearing running shoes. You guys had guys that had no plates. You guys had 2 magazines, a rifle that was half broken. Over the couple of 4.5 months of being here, all that changed. But a lot of the equipment that these soldiers that are actually fighting, they've had to buy better gear themselves. Because in some of this gear you look at, it was donated. So a lot of the NATO issued stuff that's been donated when it comes down across the Poland and the border, went right to Lviv and these warehouses. Can't tell you names or places, but they've literally been broken into at night. We're talking tractor trailer loads of stuff being taken out and then shipped out through the country to sell. You can see them online. You can do your own research. You can find out something. If you know anything about NATO equipment and you look online, you're like, holy shit, they're selling this to the Ukrainian people when it was donated. So there is people making money off this war, and at the cost of what? At the cost of lives, because like I said, I've dragged too many bodies out of the front lines. I dragged bodies of guys that didn't have plates, didn't even have a helmet.
Oh my gosh.
They're wearing running shoes. They don't have proper gear, no backpacks, no pouches, no nothing.
We train guys with body arms with probably 5 kg body arm on top of his waist. So these guys, they cannot operate properly in the front line, because if something happened, they're gonna have to carry a body, they're gonna have to carry their own body.
When it comes down to it, you think about it, and this is just kind of off top of not so much corruption, but we're literally driving Kia Ciantos and minivans and Volkswagen vans to the front lines. We don't have armored vehicles down here. If we do, it's a politician that has it, or it's somebody that's important that has it. But to get our 8 guys down to the front lines quick and extract it out of there, we're driving minivans. Get you some pictures we can show you. You can look at some of the vehicles in Mykolaiv. There's shrapnel all over the place. There's tires missing, windows all over the place.
Exactly.
So we are trying to take proof of every single mission we've been running. We never ever post any of these footage in social media because this is one of the points we would like to talk about social media. But it's footage about how Ukrainians they operate here, the reality of the equipment we are operating with. So yeah, like James said, we are operating with normal vehicles. So these vehicles they no armor. So special forces of Ukraine they operate with normal vehicles. So these guys they deserve to have the right equipment to operate in special operations. So they don't have it.
And when it comes down to the actual special operations in Ukraine, because there's a lot of SSO groups, private groups. When it comes down to the actual special forces of Ukraine, Alpha and all this stuff, they are well trained. They do a lot of specialty training. Really proud of these guys because they are actually really switched on.
And we've been operating with them. We are really good friends of these members of these teams, and like James said, it's unbelievable.
These are the real soldiers of Ukraine. These guys are the real deal. They actually make advances. They do everything when it comes down to step by step to accomplish their objective. Some of these poor guys that get no training, they're put, unfortunately, into the front lines in these trenches. It's the reality of it. They have very little training, and they literally got to hide in a hole because the Russians are shelling anywhere from, in our position, here's an example, 500 shells a day when it comes to tanks, mortars, RAF systems, missiles per one day compared to our 100. These guys are taking this.
I can say the percent of these operators, they operate in Ukraine from special forces. They are 5% of the Ukrainian armed force. 5% only.
They're bringing that numbers up. When it comes down to foreign people helping you at the very start, there's a big, we did definitely do a big impact on them. They do take us well. Commanders don't like listening to us. That's okay. That's all slowly changing.
Why is that?
I just think their authority kind of got high to them. When it comes down to us actually giving them a simple battle plan, they'll let us work it up and they'll cancel it. When it comes down to, but I think that's changing now. The new commanders, the new officers are stepping up. They actually have trained to be an officer, not just to be a guy that was a store clerk before the war for 6 months, and now he's an officer. Officers were just kind of, everybody at the very start of the war, it was all about bodies. Everybody needed to fill a position, and they're slowly getting out of that and actually establishing a system, which is good. It's tough, like I said, it's tough to swallow to see this happening, but the start of the war was very, very different than it is now. I'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, we've spent some time in Mykolaiv, and the heaviest shelling that happened in Ukraine, in Mykolaiv, one morning I woke up in Mykolaiv and I was in a car. And it was quite close. I'm talking about maybe 20 meters. But when I was, at the precise moment I was with James and with this combat medic, I think he was like.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's, what we witnessed, it's really heartbreaking. But for what comes to like your experience, ever since you've been in Ukraine, what would you say is the most heartbreaking thing you've witnessed?
To be honest, for me, it wasn't anything to do with the military. Like I said, I've lost bodies, I've lost friends. I've had to drag my friends out of the front lines. The most heartbreaking thing was actually the military vehicle came driving up, and there was an old lady crossing the road, and these guys were just piping her down the road, and they ran her right over. We stopped, held her up. She was fine. She ended up dying. I guess about 20 minutes later, we got our IFACs. They made her comfortable, and the soldier came in, and he was yelling at this old lady. That made me sick to my stomach. That was the most heartbreaking thing. When it comes down to other stuff, they said our first mission we had there, I had to drag out a buddy that got shot in the neck. I've had to drag out friends who bled out on the way back. I've had to drag out bodies of other people's friends, foreigners, Americans, British, Canadian. That's been one of the hardest things that I've had to actually come across. But you kind of get used to it, just like the shelling. If you're on a position overnight, you're getting shelled all the time. They're close to you, but you kind of get used to that kind of stuff.
So for me, from my side, 2 days ago, I lost a really good friend of mine I used to operate with. Really good guy. He's Ukrainian. He has been fighting here from 2014. He's ex-Special Forces. Special Forces actually, because he went back to the military life. And yeah, he lost his life 2 days ago, just for after a really bad organized operation in the south. And it's heartbreak for everyone. We've been operating with him, but this is war. and for me, like James say, uh, for us, it's more heartbroken to see civilians suffering these these problems of the war when they don't have the right
Or the money to
the
leave.
money, exactly all the rights to leave the country and restart the life in different countries. So yeah, it is very difficult. It is very difficult. So, but in the military side is what it is. We came from military life. We've been in different countries. We've been fighting in different countries, and yeah,
Yeah, we knew what to expect.
your life is in the line. So you never know what is gonna happen.
So yeah, and I mean, we've been talking about social media and TikTok, but please tell what's the problem? What comes to for example, some soldiers like doing all that TikTok stuff. So what's the main problem for what comes to this kind of social media usage?
At the start, now there's a lot of new soldiers. They're not new. They're just soldiers, like I said before. They're just guys that want to volunteer their time to the military. Well, they're taking pictures of themselves and posting it on TikTok. When it comes to churches, landmarks, there's an instance where a guy came down. He took a picture of him and all his team in front of this church and explained where he was, kind of thing. And literally the next day, the whole village got flattened. Russians can find this stuff. The problem with it, what it was, they kicked it out of the country. But the problem is that it's happening too much. There's too many people down here wanting to play soldier and to show, look what I'm doing, look how cool I am. It's not about that. Every time they post something on the internet, Facebook, social media, TikTok, or any of these platforms, the Russians are watching. They see this stuff. Every church, every landmark in Ukraine is historic. They don't understand this, and they literally give their location away, not only of their team, but also secret locations of like ammo depots, bunkers. It's been a huge problem since day one, and it still continues on right now.
So everyone is got access to the social media in this time, in this life now. So social media, from my point of view, is not upsec for this kind of work. This work in the battlefield, it have to be upsec completely. For people, they are coming here, soldiers, they are coming here, ex-soldiers, they are coming here to help the country. They should know about it. They should know what they're doing.
They should know better. Yeah.
But the only problem, some of these soldiers, they are not soldiers really. They are kind of like they wanna show people what they can do or what they to make themselves so much better. So these people, they put in high risk the life of another people.
It costs lives. Their liabilities, they're not.
Costs lives.
Literally.
And yes, for example, for what I know, for some people I met, they use TikTok to use fundings, to make fundings for themselves to help Ukraine. But that's not the way how you can get, from my point of view, that's not the way how you can get fundings to help Ukraine, because you put at the same time the risk
Definitely.
of the life of the Ukrainians. So yeah, I think this is one of the things have to be stopped here in the country.
The number one weapon in this war is social media. I hate to say it, but it is. They're exposing stuff. They're not exposing. They're giving information now, whether they think they are or not. They're giving locations, information on who's there, what battalion, what brigade. They're spilling their beans on the internet, and a lot of these guys don't get it. In Afghanistan, have your phone. You go on a mission, you give it to somebody. It's gone. You don't even go on your base. It was a separate thing. You just don't do it. Some people are bringing
Iraq, Africa, everyone,
too close to it,
in all these countries, they. But we are talking about professionals. They've been operating in these countries, so that is a problem in this country now. And the 50-60% of these people they are coming into the country, they're not professionals.
We did. There was one guy actually from near my hometown. My mother knows him. It's just a small story here. He literally called me or texted me from the front line on his position near a village. He's like, "Hey, how's it going?" I was like, "Oh, not too bad." I said, "You're in Ukraine." He's, "Yeah, I'm on the front lines." I said, "Why do you have your phone? Why are you texting me?" "Oh, it's okay." I said, "Get rid of your phone." It's just stuff like that is how people die. Like when it comes to numbers, when it comes from the Russian casualties to Ukrainian casualties, you're never going to hear the real amount. It's a lot higher than what you think.
So
lot
that one of the things, for example, if we think about it, every footage everyone have seen about Iraq, Afghanistan, they are all this footage. They are from 2 years before this footage has been posted in social media or in the news. So all this footage has been saved for 2 years, and after these 2 years, they've been offered to different news, different media to show the reality of the war. But now here, the all these footages they are on lifetime. So, and that is a big problem because that is not helping the country to win the war. And that is not helping the country to keep the upsec side of the military.
It can be a tool for good, but it can be a tool for evil. With the great power comes with great responsibility, and if you don't understand your responsibility and how to use it, then you shouldn't use it.
Wisely said. Yeah. So basically, if you would have a chance, like let's just say that some TikTokers over there, high TikTokers of soldiers of, well, doing nuisance. So if you would have a chance to talk to them, what would you say?
Go home.
Yes, go home, go to play a
This
game.
isn't your place.
Go to continue playing with the PlayStation, and when you get more mature into this sector, you can come back. But at the moment, it's not the place you
This is
can.
not your war. No.
Exactly. I mean, for what comes to the reality of this war, like just for example, I shared I shared a room with a soldier. He's from the UK, I think, and I woke up him yelling, like he was yelling and screaming out his pal's name. Not entirely sure yet if he's dead or not, but I mean, it was heartbreaking to hear. And so obviously he had nightmares. And for what comes to you guys, do you have like repeating nightmares or nightmares at all for what comes to?
To be honest with you, they should have checked me before I joined the military. When it comes to this, there's some people can handle it, some people can't. PTSD is a real thing. The whole point is I don't know what I've been pretty lucky when it comes down to I can put things in the back of my mind. I can erase things out of my memory. I'm always moving forward. If you rely and you think about the past too much, that's where you come into problems.
But if you think about it, this is the training we received before when we was in the military. If we didn't pass this training, we are not here now. So we cannot handle it with these situations, and we cannot handle it with normal life.
When it comes to civilian life, like you said, we're not done. We're semi-retired.
Semi-retirement.
Semi-retirement.
Semi-retired.
We're not done yet. We can't go back to really a civilian lifestyle. It's just not in our cards.
Yeah, for what comes to the civilian lifestyle, like for what comes to like experience that are like as brutal, like this has been a very exceptional war. For what comes to like the Buchas, the massacres, etc. I mean, you've like experienced this war in a harsh reality, like you've done it before. But for what comes to like you like continuing this normal life, you're going back to Canada, going back to Spain. Like, how does it feel like to join normal life when there are people maybe complaining about too dry bread or something like that? How does it feel like?
Actually,
It's not. It's very difficult to explain it, but what people they need to think about is biggest things in this life you have to worry about, no about stupid things in life. So we saw so many things. We saw everything. We've been in different countries. We experienced so many bad situations, good situations. We met people you cannot believe it. And this is making ourselves kind of to see the civilian life as a joke.
No, sure, yeah.
So
Totally
so civilian life is a life you can live, but I'm gonna work for that.
it's either you're built for it or you're not. Some people are built for civilian life. Some people they'll thrive on it, and it's the way of their life. And then some people are born and bred a different way.
I know mean I'm stronger than anyone. I know mean James is stronger than anyone. We are
Stronger than you.
stronger than me. Yeah. So it's not mean we are Iron Mans. It's not. But we can kind of see what is more important in life. Like we go more clarification of what people need in life.
And when it comes down to our life, it's like a brotherhood. We stick together.
Correct.
We can fight with each other. I know how he moves. He knows how I move. When it comes down to other countries, it doesn't matter. If you're in a situation like this, I can trust him.
Yeah.
He can trust me. Civilian life, a little different.
Yeah, well, let's just say that I hope the rest of the world would like try to learn from you guys, like about loyalty, about brotherhood, about what's actually like important in life, and for what comes to friendship, etc. Because I mean, I've seen you guys together, and you're
I can
amazing
say
together.
he's from Canada. I'm from Spain. I love him.
Love him too.
I love him. And we being here, spending time together. I can. When you see somebody, you can be linked with. It's like I cannot imagine my life without that person. I know it sounds gay, but it's the truth. It's the truth. It's somebody you can trust and somebody you can
Rely on.
grab to any place with you. So and this is what we learn and what we've been trained for.
There's no better feeling than knowing that somebody has your back.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, let's jump from a topic to another, like before I end this interview. But like what I'm interested in, like what are your like inspirations, like fictional character or non-fictional? What's your inspiration?
Don't say it. Don't say it.
That is upset. You see, we start with the upset.
Chuck Norris.
Just no race.
There you go.
Pablo Escobar.
So if they're like foreign soldiers or like just humanitarian volunteers, what kind of advice would you give to those guys who are willing to come to Ukraine?
Be prepared. You need to know what you're getting yourself into. You need to know people before you get down here. You just can't come here and come into a country like this blind. You need to have contacts. You need to have a way to get in and a way to get out. There's too much at stake here when it comes down to if you make a small mistake, it can cost a lot of lives. So as volunteers, you know, everybody needs volunteers, but you can volunteer. There's a million ways to volunteer. You don't have to volunteer for the military. You can volunteer for getting the word out. You can volunteer for humanitarian aid. You can volunteer even at home helping get donations for this country, not just for weapons, but to rebuild, for families to get over, to get away. There's so many ways.
You can volunteer from home.
Yeah.
You don't have to be here in the country to volunteer.
Very wise words. So, any last words? Like, okay, not last words, but before it comes to this interview, what would you like to say to the world right now? Free speech.
Just be prepared for what is coming.
This is not over.
This is not the end. The only thing I wanna say is this war, like some people expecting, is not gonna be ended in 1 year or 2 years. This war is gonna last very long. After this war, we need to see what is next.
The thing is, there's always going to be a war. There's always going to be good. There's always going to be evil. People pick sides, and without good, there can't be evil. Without evil, there can't be good. Unfortunately, this is the way our world works. And if you look through history, history has a way of repeating itself, and it's done so for the past 1,000 years, hundreds of thousands of years. Back to the Roman times till now. There's always an opposition. There's always somebody to fight. There's always somebody to love.
Yes, one of the things I want to say, these people here in Ukraine, they wasn't expecting to stop their lives for something like that. And they, if you one day you are coming to Ukraine, you can see these people here. They go the same life you got in your country and you got in your cities.
They're beautiful people.
They are beautiful people, and they got the same hobbies. They got the same lifestyle than you.
They want to keep it.
And if you really want to keep your lifestyle, just continue with your life, because tomorrow or probably the day after it could change. So you never know when something is gonna happen. So just enjoy life.
Alrighty. So listen, thank you guys a lot. Amazing. Thank you for giving this interview for my channel. I'm honored. You both are amazing individuals, and I respect you and love you guys a lot.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your help. And if you're not here, you are not here. We nobody gonna know what is going on. So.
Yeah. Well, one of the main reasons for this channel is to bring the truth out to the world. So that's how it is. And for what comes to you, my subscribers, other viewers, this is me wrapping up this video. Please do me a favor and give a like, subscribe for these guys, and yeah, as always, support Ukraine, please.
Slava Ukraine.
Героям слава. And слава нації. And смерть ворогам. See you guys in a bit. Cheers. See you guys in a bit. Cheers. Boy, amazing. Ugh. Thank you guys.
Yeah.